or which is known as static electricity, and second branch of electricity is known as current electricity. So the branch of physics which deals with the study of charges at rest, the branch of physics which deals with the study of charges at rest is known as static electricity. Static means rest. So the branch of physics which deals with the study of charges at rest is known as electrostatics or static electricity, and the branch of physics which deals with the study of charges in motion is known as current electricity. Okay, so in both the branches we have to study about charge. Okay, so what is charge? So charge of a body or charge on a body basically indicates about deficiency or excess of electrons. If number of electrons are greater than number of protons, then body will be negatively charged, and if number of electrons are less than number of protons, body will be positively charged, and if number of electrons are equal to the number of protons, body will be neutral, no charge. So if you talk about the charge, what is charge? That is, charge on a body basically indicates about deficiency or excess of electron. Please refresh your gadgets. And charge is of two types: positive charge and negative charge. And you know that like charges repel each other and unlike charges attract each other. So in positive and negative attraction takes place, that is, unlike charges repel each other, negative repulsion, positive also repulsion. Clear or not? So like charges repel each other, unlike charges attract each other, and it is a scalar physical quantity. This is very important. And SI unit of charge is Coulomb, denoted by C. Is everything okay? Buddhim is saying video is buffering. Is everything okay? Please comment. So it is a scalar physical quantity. Now, yes, okay. Yes, Ramesh. Video is, everything is okay? Okay. So guys, please refresh your guys. Okay, very good. Now we will discuss about electric field. What is electric field? Suppose we have a positive charge here at point P. So this point at point P, we have a positive charge. Okay, if we bring another positive charge towards this charge, and suppose this is point A, no force experienced by this charge. At point B, again no force. Okay, suppose at point C, this charge experience a repulsive force because why? Like charges repel each other. So space around this charge is called electric field. So what is electric field? What do you mean by electric field? The space around a charge, up to which its effect can be experienced is known as electric field. Okay, so it is a space around a charge up to which that is, its effect can be experienced. Now we have another physical quantity, electric field intensity. This physical quantity tells us about strength of field. Okay, if there is a field due to a charge, what is the strength of this field? So suppose this is a positive charge and this is the electric field of this positive charge. If we bring another positive charge, then if we enter into the electric field of this charge, then this positive charge will experience a repulsive force. This force per unit charge is called electric field intensity. If force is more, if force experienced by charge is more, then electric field intensity is more. If less, it is less. So electric field intensity at a point in electric field is equal to the force experienced by unit positive charge placed at that point. So what is electric field? Electric field intensity at a point in electric field is equal to the force experienced by unit positive charge placed at that point. So electric field intensity I is equal to force experienced by unit positive charge placed at that point, that is I is equal to F upon Q, where I is equal to electric field intensity, F is equal to force, Q is equal to charge. So please remember guys, electric field intensity is equal to F upon Q, that is force experienced by unit positive charge placed at that point. Okay, suppose if you want to know the electric field of this charge at point P, so if we place another positive charge and we have to calculate the force experienced by this positive charge. So force per unit charge give us electric field intensity. If this charge experience more force, it means strength of field is more, and if less force, strength of field is less. So you just remember I is equal to F upon Q, and it is a vector physical quantity. This is important. And the SI unit is Newton per Coulomb. So I is equal to F upon Q. SI unit of force is Newton and charge is Coulomb. So Newton per Coulomb. Please remember. Any charge, but we have to unit positive charge as a reference. Okay. Now, electric potential. What is electric potential? Let me explain first, then we will come to the definition. Okay, what is electric potential? Suppose this is a positive charge placed at any point, and this is the area, this is the electric field around this charge. And suppose if we bring another unit positive charge, that is 1 coulomb of charge near this charge, if we enter the electric field, then this unit positive charge will experience a repulsive force, because this is a positive charge, and if we bring another positive charge near this charge, then this charge, that is unit positive charge, will experience a repulsive force. Okay, so if you want to bring this charge, this unit positive charge near this charge, then you have to do work done against this repulsive force. So if we bring unit positive charge near this charge, then you have to do work done against this repulsive force, and this work done is stored in the charge in the form of electric potential. So electric potential at a point P is defined as work done in bringing unit positive charge from infinity to that point. So electric potential at a point in electric field is equal to the work done bringing unit positive charge from infinity to that point. So V is equal to W upon Q, where V is equal to electric potential, W is equal to work done, Q is equal to charge. So work done bringing unit positive charge gives us potential at that point, and it is also a vector physical quantity, and SI unit of electric potential is volt. Now if you want to define the 1 volt, then V is equal to W upon Q. Potential at a point is said to be 1 volt when 1 joule of work is done in bringing 1 coulomb of charge from infinity to that point. So potential at a point is said to be 1 volt if 1 joule of work is done in bringing 1 coulomb of charge from infinity to that point. So 1 volt is equal to joule per coulomb. So this is very important. This question has been asked in various competitive examination. 1 volt is equal to joule per coulomb. Okay. If magnitude of charge is same, then electric potential is 0. Now, so potential of point is said to be 1 volt when 1 joule of work is done in bringing unit positive charge from infinity to that point. And what is potential difference? That is, potential difference is measured by voltmeter. Potential difference is measured by voltmeter, and voltmeter is always connected in parallel. And one more important thing, The resistance of a voltmeter should be very high, very low. Your answer should be very low. So all points are very important for your upcoming exam. So potential difference is measured by an instrument which is known as voltmeter. Voltmeter is always connected in parallel. Suppose this is a circuit and this is a voltmeter. Voltmeter measures the potential difference between 2 points. Okay, so you have to connect it in parallel. So voltmeter is always connected in parallel and resistance of voltmeter should be very high. Now we will discuss about electric current. What is electric current? Charge flowing per second through a conductor or through a wire is called electric current, or you can say rate of flow of charge is called electric current, or charge flowing per second is called electric current, or charge flowing unit time through a conductor is called electric current. So rate of flow of charge is called electric current. So I is equal to Q upon T, where I is equal to electric current, Q is equal to charge, and T is equal to time. And it is a scalar physical quantity, and SI unit of electric current is ampere, and it is measured by an instrument which is known as ammeter. An ammeter is always connected in series like this. This is ammeter. So ammeter is always connected in series, and resistance of an ammeter should be very low, very important. So it is always connected in series. Resistance of an ammeter should be very low, but resistance of a voltmeter should be very high. Please remember. Clear or not? If clear, please comment. Clear? Yes. Now let us move to next slide. Now we are going to discuss the Ohm's law. Ohm's law says that at constant temperature, current flowing through a wire is directly proportional to potential difference across the wire. Okay, so this law states that at constant temperature, current flowing through a wire is directly proportional to the potential difference across the end of the wire. Suppose we have a wire and battery and key. If we close the key, current flows through the wire. Okay, if we increase the number of batteries, number of cells, then voltage, if voltage increases, current also increases. So this law says that current passing through a conductor is directly proportional to the potential difference across its ends. Okay, that is I directly proportional to V, or you can say V directly proportional to I. If we increase the voltage, current also increases. So, or you can say V directly proportional to I, or V is equal to Ri, where R is a constant, called resistance of the conductor or resistance of the wire. So V is equal to Ri. This is Ohm's law, where V is equal to potential or potential difference, R is equal to resistance, and I is equal to electric current. So this is Ohm's law. So what is resistance? Resistance is the opposition. Resistance means opposition. Opposition offered by the conductor to the flow of electric current is known as resistance. Okay. So according to Ohm's law, V is equal to Ri. So R is equal to V upon I. This is the value of resistance, and SI unit of resistance is ohm. SI unit of resistance is ohm, and representation of resistance is represented by a zigzag line, and this indicates fixed resistance. This is the symbol of fixed resistance, and this symbol both indicates variable resistance. So these are the symbol of variable resistance, and you all know that variable resistance is also known as, tell me, variable resistance is also known as rheostat. Okay, clear? So according to Ohm's law, V is equal to Ri, that's why R is equal to V upon R. where R is equal to resistance, V is equal to voltage, I is equal to current. SI unit is ohm, and this is the symbol, and resistance are represented by a zigzag line, that is fixed resistance, and these two symbols tells us about variable resistance, and variable resistance is also known as rheostat. If you want to define 1 ohm of resistance, so R is equal to V upon I. Resistance of a wire is said to be 1 ohm if 1 ampere current flows when 1 volt is applied. So when 1 volt is applied through the end of the wire, then current flows is 1 ampere, then resistance of the wire is said to be 1 ohm. So 1 ohm is equal to, this is also very important for your exam, 1 ohm is equal to volt per ampere. So 1 ohm is the resistance of a conductor such that when a potential difference 1 volt is applied to its end, a current of 1 ampere flows through it. Is it clear? So please remember 1 ohm is equal to volt per ampere. Yes, variable resistance example is rheostat. Yes, Rajesh. Now we will discuss very important section of electricity, that is factors affecting the resistance of a conductor. Okay, so resistance of a conductor is directly proportional to length of the conductor. If we increase the length, resistance also increases. If we decrease the length, resistance also decreases. And second thing is, resistance of a conductor is inversely proportional to the area of cross section of the wire. Area of cross section of the wire. Suppose we have two wires. The area of cross section of wire is first wire, and this is the area of cross section of second wire. So if area of cross section of wire is more, resistance is less. Area of cross section is less, resistance is more. So which wire has greater resistance? Tell me, which wire has greater resistance? 1 or 2? So area of cross section of second wire is more, so its resistance is less. Okay, now resistance of a conductor also depends on temperature. If temperature increases, then resistance also increases. And resistance of a wire also depends on nature of material. Different materials have different resistances, such as resistance of copper wire, resistance of aluminum wire, resistance of gold wire, silver wire are different. Okay, yes, second wire is higher. Yes, Rajesh. So suppose this is the equation of 1 and this is the equation 2. So if we combine these two equations, we get R directly proportional to L upon A. If we remove sign of proportion, then we have to apply a constant. So R is equal to rho L upon A, where rho is a constant. This is called rho. Called resistivity. This is called resistivity of the material of the wire. Okay, so R is equal to rho L upon A. So this is called resistivity or specific resistance of the wire. If you want to calculate the value of rho, then rho becomes Ra upon L. So this is the value of resistivity. And tell me, what is the SI unit of resistivity? What should be the SI unit of resistivity? No, resistivity or specific resistance. What is the SI unit of, what should be the SI unit of resistivity? So rho is equal to Ra upon L. So here R is equal to resistance. So SI unit of resistance is ohm. And what is A? Area of cross section. So into meter square. And what is L? Length of the wire, meter. So meter becomes cancelled. So meter and meter cancelled out, and we get SI unit, that is ohm into meter. Ohm meter. Yes, Naresh. Kasani, yes, very good. Pradeep, Rajesh, all are correct. Very good. Keep it up. So this is also very important for your upcoming exam. So R is equal to rho L upon A. where rho is resistivity, R is equal to resistance, A is equal to area of cross section of the wire, and L is equal to length of the wire. So R directly proportional to L, R inversely proportional to 1 upon A, also depends on nature of material of the wire. So R L upon A, so R rho L upon A, where rho is a constant called resistivity of the material of the conductor, and SI unit is ohm meter. We have already discussed. Now we have conductivity. Conductivity is denoted by sigma or K or C, okay, or kappa. So many symbols of conductivity. And what is conductivity? Reciprocal of resistivity is called conductivity. So C is equal to 1 upon rho. So what is conductivity? Reciprocal of resistivity is known as conductivity. So C is equal to, where C is conductivity, C is equal to 1 upon rho. Tell me the SI unit of conductivity. If SI unit of resistivity is ohm meter, then SI unit of conductivity is per ohm per meter or mho per meter. So per ohm becomes mho, reverse of ohm is mho, so this becomes mho and meter, or per ohm per meter, or you can write like this becomes per ohm and per meter, and also Siemens per meter, Simon per meter, or you can write like S per meter, write like this. So these are the SI unit of several forms of unit of conductivity. Okay. Also per meter, mho per meter, Rajesh. Ohm per meter, so this is mho and per meter. Okay. Is it clear or not? If clear, please comment. So you can write the SI unit of conductivity in different forms. Yes, very clear. Now we are going to discuss the combination of resistances. Resistances are combined in two ways. Number one, series combination, and number two, parallel combination. So first of all, we will discuss about series combination. What is series combination? When resistors are combined end to end like this. So this combination is called series combination. Suppose the resistance of this conductor is R1, this is R2, and third wire is R3, and you have to calculate the total resistance. When resistors are connected in series, then total resistance is equal to R1 plus R2 plus R3 plus so on Rn, if n resistors are connected in series. Okay, so this is series combination. Suppose resistance of this first wire is 2 ohm, this is 4 ohm, and resistance of this wire, that is R3, is 5 ohm. And when these resistors are connected in series, what should be the total resistance or equivalent resistance? Then simply you have to add 2 plus 4 plus 5, that is 11 ohm is the equivalent resistance. Now parallel combination, when resistors are connected like this, that is one end at one point and another end at another point. So this is called parallel combination, and total resistance or equivalent resistance is equal to the 1 upon Rp. That is, resistors are connected in parallel, then total resistance becomes 1 upon Rp is equal to 1 upon R1 plus 1 upon R2 plus 1 upon R3, so on. Okay. Suppose we have two resistors connected in parallel, then 1 upon Rp is equal to 1 upon R1 plus 1 upon R2. It becomes R1 R2, R1 plus R2. So 1 upon Rp is equal to R1 R2 upon R1 plus R2. So Rp becomes R1 R2 upon R1 plus R2. So if two resistors are connected in parallel, then you can use this formula to calculate equivalent resistance. Rp is equal to R1 R2 R1 plus R2. Suppose now we have a question for you. Try to solve this question. The question is, three resistors are combined in A-like fashion, A-like pattern. Suppose this is the point A and this is the point B, like this. Suppose this is the resistor 1, this is 2 and this is 3. Resistance of this resistor is 2 ohm, and resistance of this resistor is 4 ohm. Calculate the equivalent resistance of the combination or total resistance of the combination. Tell me. Calculate the total resistance of the combination. So suppose 3 resistors are connected in A-like fashion, showing in diagram. The resistance of this resistor is 2 ohm and 4 ohm. What should be the total equivalent resistance? So you have to identify which one is connected in parallel or series. So these conductors are connected end to end. So this is series combination. And when resistors are connected in series combination, then we can add simply 2 plus 2. So this value becomes 2 plus 2, that is, you can write a single conductor, that is 4 ohm. And this 4 ohm, 2 plus 2, it becomes 4 ohm, and this 4 ohm is again connected with a 4 ohm resistors like this. This is A and this is B. So this combination is a parallel combination, and when 2 resistors are connected in parallel, then you can use this formula. Rp is equal to R1 R2 upon R1 plus R2, that is 4 into 4 upon 4 plus 4, 16 plus 8, that is 2 ohm. Clear or not? This is a very simple question. Avinash is correct. Yes, Sachin, very good. Clear or not? Clear? Yes, very good. Now we will discuss about electric power. What is electric power? So if you talk about the power, then power is equal to work done upon time or energy consumed per unit time. Yes, Naresh, very good. Avinash, Rajesh, Kasani, Sidhu, very good. Electric power. So what do you mean by power? So rate of work done, that is work done per unit time or work done per second time by a machine, or you can say energy consumed per unit time by a machine, is known as power. So power is equal to W upon T or E upon T, where P is equal to power, E is equal to energy consumed, and W is equal to work done. Okay, so P is equal to W upon T or E upon T. Okay, now we have already discussed that V is equal to W upon Q. Potential is equal to work done per unit charge. V is equal to W upon Q. So from this formula, W is equal to V into Q. Okay, so if we apply this value in this formula, then we get P is equal to W upon T. So W is equal to V into Q. So W is equal to V into Q and upon T. And you all know that I is equal to Q upon T. So Q upon T becomes I. So P is equal to VI. This is the first formula of electric power, where P is equal to power, V is equal to potential, I is equal to current. So if potential difference is given, electric current is given, then you can calculate power by using this formula. P is equal to V upon I. Now you all know that V is equal to Ri. From Ohm's law, V is equal to Ri. So I becomes V upon R. So if we put the value of I in this equation, this formula, we can get P is equal to V into I. I is equal to V upon R. So we have another formula of power, that is P is equal to V square upon R. Now if we put the value of V in this formula, then we can get another formula of power, that is V is equal to Ri. You all know that V is equal to Ri. So P is equal to V into I and V is equal to R into I. So R into I into I. So P is equal to I square R. So these are the different forms of power. So P is equal to W upon T, or P is equal to E upon T. P is equal to V into I. P is equal to V square upon R. P is equal to I square R. Please remember. Question always comes from here. That is, which of the question is, which of the following is not a formula of power? Suppose this is the question. Which of the following is not a formula of power? Option number 1, option number 2, option number 3, and option number 4. P is equal to IR. What should be the right option? The question is, which of the following is not a formula of electric power? This is the question. We have already discussed in the chapter of work, power and energy. What is 1 watt of power? Okay, joule per second. Here we will discussing about electric power mainly. So this is not a formula of power. Yes, Sachin. Yashwan. So this is the question, very important question. So this is clear or not? Derivation is clear? Yes, P is equal to IR. This is wrong. But this all are the formula of electric power. P is equal to VI. So if voltage is given, current is given, then you can calculate power by using this formula. If voltage and resistance is given, you can calculate power by using this formula. If electric current and resistance is given, you can calculate the power by using this formula. Is it clear or not? If clear, please comment. Okay. Yes, very good. Now we will discuss about the commercial unit of energy. What is the commercial unit of energy? So commercial unit of energy is kilowatt hour. This is kilowatt hour, and 1 kilowatt hour is equal to 1 unit of electrical energy. So 1 kilowatt hour is equal to 1 unit of electrical energy. And what is the relation between kilowatt hour and joule? So please remember this relation: 1 kilowatt hour is equal to 3.6 into 10 to the power 6 joule. So 1 kilowatt hour means 1 kilo means 1000 into 1 watt into 1 hour. So 1 kilowatt means 1000 watt. So 1000 into 1 watt into 1 hour. So 1000 is equal to 1 watt is equal to 1 joule upon 1 second, and 1 hour means 60 into 60 seconds. So second becomes cancelled. So 1 kilowatt hour is equal to 36 into 10 to the power 3 and 2, 5 joule. That is 3.6 into 10 to the power 6 joule. So 1 kilowatt hour is equal to 3.6 into 10 to the power 6. Please remember this relation. Derivation is not important. This is not important. Please remember. If you want to calculate the number of unit consumed in your home, then you can apply this formula to calculate number of unit consumed. So number of unit consumed is equal to watt into hour upon 1000. Suppose this is the question. A bulb of 60 watt. A bulb of 60 watt runs for 6 hours daily. Calculate the number of unit consumed in 30 days. A bulb of 60 watt runs 6 hours daily. Calculate the number of unit consumed in 30 days. So N is equal to what? 60 watt, how many hours? 6 hours upon 1000, how many days? 30 days. 3. Tell me, what should be the right option? .6 joule unit. Clear or not? So you can apply this formula to calculate the number of unit consumed. Okay, 10.8. Okay. Oh, okay, 3. Heating effect of current. So now we will discuss about heating effect of current. When an electric current is passed through a wire, the wire becomes hot. This effect of current is called heating effect of current. Okay, and heat produced in a wire is given by this formula, H is equal to I square RT. So heat produced in the wire is equal to I square RT. This is called Joule's law of heating effect of current. Joule's law of heating effect of current, where H is equal to heat produced in the wire, I is equal to electric current, R is equal to resistance, T is equal to time. So heat produced in the wire is directly proportional to I square. If we increase the electric current, heat also increases, directly proportional to resistance. Okay, so wire having more resistance, more heat, directly proportional to T, more time, more heat. Okay, horsepower is a unit of power, and 7,461 horsepower is equal to how many watt? Tell me. So it is big unit of power. 1 horsepower is equal to how many watt? We have discussed, yes, 746 watt. Absolutely right, very good. So the question is, fuse wire works on heating effect of current, magnetic effect of current, chemical effect of current. Your answer should be fuse wire works on heating effect of current, and it is made up of an alloy, lead and tin. This is lead and this is the symbol of tin. So it is an alloy of lead and tin. The question is, resistance of a fuse wire should be very high or low? Resistance of a fuse wire should be very high or low? This is very super duper hit question. Low or high? Resistance of a fuse wire should be very high, yes, and melting point should be very low. Sachin, yes, melting point should be very low, resistance should be very high, and it works on heating effect of current. These are the very important questions. Should be very low, yes. Now we will discuss about magnetic effects of current. When an electric current is passed through a conducting wire, then magnetic field is produced around the wire. That is, wire behaves like a magnet. So when an electric current is passed through a conductor or wire, a magnetic field is produced around the wire. That is, wire behaves like a magnet. This effect of current is called magnetic effect of current, and the phenomenon of magnetic effect of current was discovered by H.C. Ørsted in 1820. Okay. Now, direction of magnetic field is given by which of the following rule? Right hand thumb rule. This is important. What is right hand thumb rule? This is not important. You just remember, direction of magnetic field is given by which of the following rule? Right hand thumb rule. What is right hand thumb rule? This rule states that hold current carrying conductor. Suppose this is a current carrying conductor in which current flows in upward direction. So this law tells us about hold or grasp current carrying conductor such a way that your thumb points in the direction of current. Then curling of finger will give you the direction of magnetic field. This is the direction of magnetic field. This is the direction of curling of finger. So this law says that hold current carrying conductor such a way that your thumb points in the direction of electric current, then curling of finger will give you the direction of magnetic field. So you just remember, direction of magnetic field is given by which of the following rule? Right hand thumb rule. This is important for your exam. Now, magnetic force. What is magnetic force? When a charged particle is projected in a magnetic field, then charged particle experiences a force. This is called magnetic force. And direction of magnetic force, this is important. Direction of magnetic force is given by which of the following rule? Fleming's left hand rule. Always comes in your exam. And what is Fleming? Fleming left hand rule? This rule says that stretch your forefinger, center finger and thumb of your left hand mutually perpendicular to each other such a way that if forefinger points in the direction of field, center finger in the direction of current, then direction of thumb will give the direction of magnetic force. So forefinger means magnetic fields. Forefinger field, magnetic field. Center finger in the direction of current. C for center, C for current. Then thumb will give you the direction of force. So please remember, direction of magnetic force is given by which of the following rule? Fleming left hand rule. Now we will discuss about electromagnetic induction. What is electromagnetic induction? The production of electricity from magnetism is known as electromagnetic induction. Okay, so the production of magnetism from electricity, electric current produce magnetism. This is called magnetic effect of current. This is called magnetic effect of current. But production of production of electricity from magnetism is called electromagnetic induction. So production of magnetism from electricity, production of magnetism from electricity is called magnetic effect of current, and reverse is called electromagnetic induction. That is, production of electricity from magnetism is called electromagnetic induction. So production of electricity from magnetism is called electromagnetic induction, and this phenomena was discovered by Faraday. And current produced due to electromagnetic induction is called induced current, and direction of induced current is given by which of the following rule? Fleming's right hand rule. So three rules are important, always comes in your exam. Right hand thumb rule gives the direction of magnetic field. Fleming's left hand rule gives the direction of magnetic force, and Fleming right hand rule gives the direction of induced current. Okay, and what is Fleming right rule? This is not important. This rule says that stretch your forefinger, center finger and thumb of your right hand mutually perpendicular to each other, such a way that forefinger points in the direction of field. Okay, thumb points in the direction of motion of conductor or wire. Then direction of center finger will give you the direction of induced current. Okay, so please remember, direction of field, magnetic field, direction of magnetic field is given by right hand thumb rule. Right hand thumb rule. Direction of magnetic force is given by Fleming left hand rule, and direction of induced current is given by Fleming's right hand rule. This is important for your exam. Clear? Yes, motor rule. Is it clear? So please remember all these points for your exam, very important, guys. Okay, so this is all about your electricity. If you have still any doubt, you can ask, please. Clear, Lata, Rajesh, Pradeep, Mahesh, Naresh? The phenomena of electricity was discovered by Thales. When Thales rubbed umber rod with woolen cloth, then he observed that umber rod is able to attract dust particles. Greek name of umber is electron. So the property so acquired by the umber rod is called electricity. So around 600 BC, the discovery of electricity, the word electricity was discovered by Thales, Thales, Thales. Okay. Current produced due to electromagnetic induction, okay, is known as induced current. Okay, and direction of induced current is given by which of the following rule? Which one? Fleming's right hand rule. This is important for your exam, Sachin. So current produced due to electromagnetic induction is known as induced current. What is electromagnetic induction? Production of electricity from magnetism. Production of electricity from magnetism is called electromagnetic induction. Yes. Clear? Any doubt? Naresh? Clear, Sachin? Yes, very good. Thank you guys. Thank you very much.